We're live. No, now we're live. That means live when the blue light's on. Hey everybody, welcome to Android Coliseum. This is our Hangout show, number 124. 124 times we've all sort of sit down and got around. Some new faces, some older faces in that time period, but we all have some great opinions here on Android and how it affects us here in Canada. So let's talk about who we have joining us this week. Now, I'm going to go from my left-hand side. To me, that's Martin. Welcome, Martin.
Hey, guys.
Martin's hanging out with his new toy, the Plantronics Beats on his head. Backbeat.
Yep. It got released today and announced, and fortunately, somebody screwed up and posted stuff earlier yesterday, so they gave you the go-ahead for posting the review.
There you go. So we'll talk about that at 1-2 later. Rob Blake. How's the winter peg?
Winter peg is not very wintry right now, 27 above, and just gorgeous outside.
And how are the mosquitoes?
They're terrible. I still have bug spray all over me and my kids.
That's one thing I always remember about going to Winnipeg in the summer. Lots of mosquitoes.
We have lots still.
And then we have Sivan in Montreal.
Hi.
That's it.
It's a bit chilly today. You didn't ask, so I didn't answer. You don't care.
Montreal's great. Poutine's still tasty. And then we have, last but definitely not least, our warrior from the north. We have Sylvain.
Hello, everybody. I am rocking tonight my WestJet earphone. Earbuds, I should say. And you can laugh at me now. I can barely hear you when you talk, but I'll try my best.
These headphones you stole on the last trip you came back from Montreal, because you just went to Montreal to visit.
Yeah, that's right.
And you went up north and came back, so I think that's his souvenir he took from the trip is some WestJet headphones.
Yeah, that's all I have.
There we go. Okay, so we got some topics. If you go to hangouts.androidcoliseum.com, you'll see our Android topics agenda here. And we've got a couple things to talk about, so we might as well just dive straight into it, because we have those and we have some reviews that we posted about already. So again, if you have any questions, visit the site. So let's start off. So ZTE, or ZTE if you're American, announces their Axon flagship. And I kind of saw the posting of this, but I didn't really follow it. So Martin, let's talk about this.
All right. So like Brian just said, ZTE launched their Axon smartphone, and it's a pretty impressive device. I mean, it should be hitting the North American market soon. They didn't really specify a time frame when, but we should be seeing that at some point shortly. And it's your standard 5.5-inch display. I mean, it's going to be supporting a Quad HD display. They're going to be running the second generation of the 810 Snapdragon chipset. 4 GB RAM, starts with 32 GB storage, and a 3,000 milliamp battery. And it comes preloaded with Android 5.11. So no update there, and it looks like a pretty solid device. I mean, the starting price for this device is going to be about $449 USD. So it's not that bad. It's in the ballpark of all the other ones we've seen at this that matches the specification, and it should be coming to Canada soon as well. So it's just a matter of time before we see something on the Canadian market. They were saying probably at the end of the summer.
It'll be interesting to see, because I mean, ZTE has done some usually budget phones, if I remember correctly. I think it was Wind usually carries ZTE, and maybe some Bell, right? So they've had some of that. I mean, it's always been that budget line stuff. So it'll be interesting to see, because you look at these specs: Quad HD, 4 gigs of RAM, a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. That's not budget.
It's ZTE's flagship device at about a budget price phone.
You're saying, what was it, $499 or so? You're thinking, or
$449 USD. Yeah.
Yeah, so with Canadian change, you're probably looking at a little more $5.25, probably.
Yeah, it's the high end of the budget phone.
Yeah, because the dollar tanked today at they said 77 cents today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that's but still, that's not a bad price range. I mean, when people are looking at do I want to get the G4 at $700 or an S6 Edge at $800 for $450, at $5.25 with exchange or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And if it does come to Win, and Win does do the Win tab, which is kind of a subsidized version, this phone probably would be in the range of about $129.99.
Yeah, after the subsidy, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like Bell Videotron, Telus looks like it'll carry it as well.
So you'd be getting a high-end budget phone at a decent price if you're going with the subsidy.
So there you go, pretty decent looking phone. Okay, so moving along. Any questions you guys have about that phone? I'd be interested to try it. I don't know if I've ever tried a ZTE device, so it'd be kind of interesting. All right. Let's move along here. So looking at taxi services, all the rage nowadays of these Ubers and Lyfts and all that kind of thing. So there's a couple of new services, or not new, but now officially available in some towns here in Canada. So Uber launches Uber Pool in Toronto.
Yeah, Uber Pool in Toronto. The premise behind the idea is pairing users with drivers. A bit different than what we've seen with Uber. I mean, this is going to be more like a ride-sharing program, similar to what we've seen in other cities. But Uber is trying to do a really big push. I mean, this initially started over in San Francisco, and now it got the official launch over in Toronto. And it should allow people to get by. Like they were saying, they tried to accommodate the consumer market as well as not take away from the taxi, but help reduce the workload on the transit system, which is overloaded in Toronto. And anybody that's been in Toronto who uses the transit, the subway, the streetcars, whatever, you know, it's always packed. Doesn't matter what time of the day you go at. So they're trying to bring your service more like a ride-sharing program, separate from actually Uber that people know.
Okay. Good. And I know Thunder Bay, we were really trying hard with our Bombardier plant to put more of those trains on their rails, but if you don't want to ride the rails, you take Uber Pool. All right, so speaking of the taxi services, Montreal's got a new app.
Yeah, I mean, Taxi Diamond, the premise behind that one is to bring fair competition in Montreal and to be a legal taxi service app that's in Montreal versus Uber. And they're going to be a bit cheaper than your actual taxi fare that you normally get, but everything could be running from an app that you can get on your phone. You cannot even schedule a driver for when you want to be picked up. I mean, it doesn't need to be today; it could be for tomorrow. And on top of that, they've combined their app with Air Miles, so you actually get reward Air Miles with your actual app when you do your transaction. So your fare can be paid the same way as you were doing it with Uber, and you don't have to handle the cash over to the driver and whatnot. And it works in the same similar way, but this one's actually an approved service in Montreal.
Right. Now, is Diamond a taxi brand that's down there in Montreal?
I mean, Siobhan would be able probably to answer that more than I.
Yeah, they're very popular. I mean, when we have to get a taxi at the office for people that visit us, we always call them. They're very well known and very reliable. Even on the phone, I mean, I usually call them on the phone because I'm at the office. So when you call, there's already it's automated, and it knows your address, and they're very advanced, and we use them all the time.
So one of the things I just forgot to mention is they actually offer to rate the driver, the car cleanliness and whatnot, so you can actually have a profile view of each driver that's going to be assigned to you with how they're rated about their quality of service, their car, and how well they drive.
Very neat. Cool. Something you would use potentially there in Montreal yourself, Siobhan, or Sylvain, when you travel there?
I use them already, so sure.
Would you use the app?
If I'm out and about, sure. I don't see a reason why not. I looked at the app. You can put in the credit card number, and it seems very easy. I think that they had an older app that didn't work as well and stopped working after the Lollipop update. So this is a newer, better app that gives more features and the ability to pay with a credit card. So sure, I mean, it makes it much easier, and it's a good competition to Uber also, although it's also very popular in Montreal.
I would be really cool to see if they start bringing in some wear features as well, so you could just pop on your watch, okay, bring up the Diamond app, hail a taxi cab, be aware.
That will be cool, yeah.
So when you're too drunk to even pull out your phone and okay, Google, get me a taxi. No, that'd be kind of cool. Okay, so those are some of the new apps and new services for coming around in Canada. Now, new for Android recently, and I know Sylvain had a chance to play around with this, and Rob tried it and didn't work on his Moto X, was Cortana. Now, Cortana is the Windows equivalent of Google Now and Siri, and we've seen all the videos of them competing against each other, and Cortana's supposed to be pretty smart, and I think it was Cortana that predicted all the last Emmy winners or whatever, the Oscars. But does Android need another digital assistant? So we have S Voice, we have Google Now. What was it? Oh, and Hound that came out.
Just came out, yeah.
So Sylvain, you tried it out. I tried it out a bit on my phone. I played with it a little bit. What do you think about it?
Well, to answer your question, as if we need it on Android, as much as I like Microsoft, I don't think so. I mean, I don't use Google Now much, very rarely actually, and but I think that you know what, the product wasn't supposed to be released yet. The APK is in alpha, so can I really judge how good it is? Probably not. I didn't run into any problems with it, but this morning I was thinking about uninstalling it until it gets completely released with final.
Now, can you remap like the Google Now swipe up to go to Cortana instead of Google Now, or you can, Rob?
Yeah, just like Hound and other personal assistants, because I've tried a lot of them. You have that option to just reset your default, and you can select Cortana instead if you want it.
Yeah, mine didn't come up that way. But anyways, yeah. So I guess that's cool. But I mean, I don't know how often I use the tell me this answer I'm looking for. And like you said, Sylvain, it's in very pre-alpha almost stages. I know I saw some reviews, people covering it and sort of saying, I know I've tried this on a Lumia device, Cortana on a Lumia device, and it gives me voice answers, but on the Android it wasn't. So there are some, obviously bugs to work out. But again, if you're in the Microsoft realm, you are using all their services already, it might be nice to stick around with that too. So interesting to see how it comes out, and yeah. Okay, so lately we've been talking a lot about the rise of the mid-range phone, so I call it the mid phone. So it's not the flagship phones. It's not really the budget line like the Moto E, but it's that middle of the line phone. I'm not really wanting to get a full flagship, and we've seen a lot lately. The LG G3 Vigor, the G4 Beat. I just reviewed the Alcatel Idol 3, and recently Samsung announced the Galaxy Grand Prime. So, and again, just nice to see all these sort of variations of devices out there. So, because the problem is a lot of these stores are really pushing people to get the top-end phone. Like when my dad got his phone, he was pushed into the Note 2, and he did it just because, well, it's a bigger screen, I need it because I'm older, I need a bigger screen. At least now you can sort of see that there's a bunch of these options that are coming out that would accommodate that and not have to send them back a crazy amount of money or whatever. So very interesting to see. So the Galaxy Grand Prime, I think they're saying it was $269 if you bought it from Samsung unlocked, whereas you can get it from a bunch of carriers for around the $250 price range. So interesting to see. I think it's not out for another week or so, but or no, the 23rd, so it's be tomorrow, I think it was. It was saying it was going to be available. So if you're looking for a phone and you don't need the top end, I would probably say the Galaxy Grand Prime is a pretty nice one, especially if around you people do have Galaxy phones. It's nice to have the same look to them. So
how's the specs of it?
I'll put the specs in 1 second here. So Sylvain, did you have a question on that one, or?
Yes, I was wondering. Now that they release a lot of mid-range phones, are they good enough for people now to think good about Android? Because the old crappy phones that ran Android, I mean, you can choose the camera, you can do this, can do that, and people are like, well, might as well go with Apple.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's tough to say. I mean, to be honest with you, I think the people that would buy these phones are not going to notice a difference if you give them a flagship or you give them this phone, anyways. Like a friend of mine who's still rocking the original, the HTC Magic, and he's asked, what phone do I want to get? And I'm like, well, you don't need a top end of the phone. You just need one's like, I just want to do texting and phone calling, and maybe the occasional send an email. So in those senses there, a lot of these phones have been quite impressive. I know when you reviewed the Moto E, right, yourself, Sivan,
Yeah.
you liked it. I mean, they do
Sure.
for the basic features for a lot of people like that. Yeah, if you're looking for a better phone, then that's where you might want to spend a couple dollars more to get
I
a phone.
just
You really can't compare a mid-range phone with an Apple phone, right? Or with the top edge
I
S6.
just find that people that say they don't need a good phone still say, oh, the camera's not good enough. Oh, I tried to load the app and it wasn't fast enough. So I'm always hesitant to suggest phones like that to people because even if they say they don't need it, they need something minimal. So, for example, a colleague needed a phone, so the OnePlus is now $299. That's perfect. The specs are great. The price is great. It's good enough. He doesn't need to wait for the OnePlus 2, but I think that the really simple phones are better for either
Older.
very young people or very old people.
To put it polite. Just to give you the idea of the specs on the Galaxy Grand Prime, I pulled it up here. It's a 5-inch. Now it's a quasi HD, meaning it's a 960 by 540. So this is Galaxy Nexus era kind of size or resolution. But again, it's a quad-core Snapdragon 410. So again, a couple of generations older. 1.5 gigs of RAM, 8 gig storage, 8 megapixel camera, 2600 milliamp hour battery. That should last a long time especially for those specs. So I mean, it's definitely nowhere near top end. It's definitely lower end, but for $250, like what do you really expect? It's like I don't know, but Sivan, you in the travel industry probably get this all the time. Oh, I don't really need a really fancy hotel. I just need a place I can lie down on. And all they'll do is complain. Oh, I didn't have bar service.
Oh my God, that's me in real life today at work.
I don't need a really fancy car. I just need a one with 4 wheels.
And then they get it, and they're like, "Oh, it's not fast enough. Oh, my camera's not so good." Well, that's what you pay. That's what you get.
Exactly. So that's the Galaxy Grand Prime, among a host of other these mid-range phones that are out there that are really good options, I think. And again, I personally like the fact that we have options. So nothing worse than just saying, okay, you want to get a phone? There's this Apple phone. And that's all we carry, that's all Apple brings out. Oh wait, sorry, there's a bigger version of that Apple phone. It's more expensive. Anyways, moving along. Google Photos. How many of you guys using Google Photos?
I do.
Backing up all your photos for free, unlimited, up to
Yep.
16 megapixel. Come on, Sylvain, you're the photo taker here. Come on.
I am, but I use another service.
So you still use it. So what we used to use was Google Plus Photos, and we know that there was a rearrangement of the fact that Google Plus Photos and now Google Photos are two separate versions, and they're trying to get people to take one Google Plus Photos over to Google Photos, because Google Plus Photos is now going away officially. Now, if you would put photos in Google Plus Photos, they will still be available. If you shared them, people plused and commented. They're actually there still. It's just you can't re-upload it anymore to that Google Plus Photo services. You would now have to switch over to the Google Photos app. So just August 1st is the deadline for that. If you haven't already, so I did to my dad's phone the other day. I made sure he has on Google Photos. I made sure he had Google Photos on his computer so he can get all the uploads for free, etc. And then he started liking all the fact that all these the assistants came up. I'm like, oh, I like that little animation it did. Oh, I like that. And all photos that were coming up. So question, Rob.
Do we know if when August 1st comes along that they're going to, like when you go to photos.google.com, whatever, you get the new interface, but you have the option to go back to the old version that we're used to? Is that going to be deprecated? Is that going to be gone completely, do you think? And I asked
I don't get the option even to say, do you want to see Google Plus Photos?
Yeah, neither do I.
Well, see, I still have it. I still have it every time I log in. I can see it in the top right corner of my screen that I can. You can actually even go to Acosta.google.com. I think it was. It's off the top of my head.
Yeah,
well, it used to be.
I only did that because when I was compiling my public album for all the photos I was taking with my G4, if you wanted to rearrange, like your the most recent photo to be the very top, every time you add a picture, it would drop to the bottom. And at the time, I haven't been there today, but you couldn't rearrange your photos. So you have to go back to the old-fashioned Picasso version, and you can do it, and that would reflect back into the new Photos thing. So I was just wondering.
I used to, when I was on Google Plus Photos, I used to get the option, do you want to visit Picasa Web? And you can still access Picasa Web, and I think that's sort of I think that's now what Google Photos is now. It's because it sort of lingered Zombie World, Picasa Web.
It's still there.
Between. And I think now officially Picasa Web is Google Photos because it was a separate app before.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And it kind of got hybrided into Google Plus, and now it's back to its own as Photos Google, right? So.
Yeah.
I just hope that come to first that they have at least proper organization, some of the more features implemented to the new thing before they ditch the old.
Yeah, and there's always been a bit of confusion about that, right? So, like I know, especially like, did I put that in that folder? Is it in the backup folder but not in its own folder? Yeah, so it's kind of weird still, slightly so. Anyways, Siobhan, you had a question about this too.
Just this whole transition doesn't make sense to me because in the past it seemed that Google Plus Photos improved so much, and then somehow now they're taking a few steps back. We lost features. It's not as good. It's not as easy to create albums. I still had to use Picasa the other day to do something that I couldn't do on the Google Photos. It seems weird that they would do that because it was already so advanced with the editing options, and hopefully it will catch up.
Yeah, I think especially there's an the issue I'm having is that you can't Chromecast with Google Photos.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the biggest piss off for me is I can't Chromecast. I think it's one of those things that's going to come, like because when Picasa was on its own, it had sort of bare bones feature. When it got merged into Google Plus, and Google Plus was photo sharing, I think they kind of had to sort of evolve the Photos app. And I think what's happening is now all these cool features came with that, and like, well, we really want to make it separate, back to being a separate. So it's probably going back to be separate, and you're going to find a lot of those things are going to slowly transition over to make that a full-fledged, full-service system. Because Google Plus Photos, you have Snapseed editing, right? On Google Photos, I don't really have that. So I think it's a matter of, okay, we made the split. We're ensuring that these people can dedicate their time just to that instead of having to worry about Google Plus integration. So that might be taking some time. So soon, I hope.
We'll see what happens because I use only that.
So. 4.0 update too, so you know how Google is updating some things sometimes. You know how they love Canadians as well, so it might be well before you even get that. So. Okay, so on to more things. I'm not a big rumor guy. I think you guys know this, but I had to comment on this one because it looks very cool. So for years, the S Pen on the note line, you have to kind of get your finger under a little lip and pull it out. It pulls out, or it sticks out a little bit or whatever. So it looks like there was some leak recently. I showed a picture of the S Pen, and I showed a picture of it put into the note, and it was running flush, like absolutely flush. No sticking out the back, no sticking out the top, and it was flush with that device. And the idea being is it's going to look like it might be that you can give the end of the pen a little click, and it'll pop out a little bit more, kind of like a big pen or whatever, right? So the idea of it now that you click it in, it'll pop out, and it gives you something to grab onto and pull the pen out with. I believe my old Palm Pilot T3 worked the same way, that it would go in, and then you push it in, click, click, and it blocks away. And you want to pull it out, you click it, and it pops out. So it looks like that's going to be kind of cool. How many of you guys have used the Note lineup? I know, Martin, you did for a while. Nobody's used the Note lineup? I love the Note line. I mean, I love the pen idea. I never found myself using it. The problem.
I always hear good things actually about the Note.
It is. I mean, I gotta admit, the pen is pretty damn fluid, and that Note 4 was actually amazing. And I know, Martin, you tried the Note 4 or the Note Edge.
I never found anything to use the pen for. Nothing at all.
Yeah, so that's the same thing. I want to use it, and if I'm a Palm Pilot user, I want to be the guy that uses it all the time, but it never. I don't know, but I've just evolved beyond it. But whatever. Okay, last but not least for the items of topics here, we have 1+2. Another couple of days have gone by, a couple more details get revealed. It's sort of the OnePlus way. So what did they talk about recently here, Sylvain?
Well, I think we know pretty much everything about it except the price. And to actually see it, do a full 360 with it. This morning I posted an article that was because they released the first official, well, not sure official, but picture of it, and we can see that the camera is much lower than it used to be. Look at my phone here, you see it's right on top. I was saying in my article, the amount of time I put my finger in front of it, maybe one video out of 10, at some point you see my finger go, go over. Like, no, not again. So I think that's going to be a good change for the OnePlus 2.
Yeah,
Other than that, we need to see the price.
Yeah, I mean, kind of know.
It will be around 450, no?
Well, he said it would definitely be under 450 American. So again,
I hope so.
449.
And if you remember back with the OnePlus One when he came out and he said, "Oh, it'll definitely be under 500," and it came at 399. I'm not saying that means, oh well, if he said 450, it's gonna be 350. But so I mean, that's not a bad price range for what we're starting to hear. Snapdragon 810 version 2. What is it? 3,500 milliamp hour battery.
33, I think.
33. Dual SIM. 3 gigs of RAM.
I think it's 4.
4 gigs. So it's we know a lot about it already. Just the final details. I guess. So interesting. Now, who among here would be interested in taking a look at that?
I'll take a spin.
I would, but I don't have the money. And the other thing to consider, I got a comment on my article, is that with the dollar value now here in Canada, it's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah, true.
So that was a big tease off when I got the OnePlus originally. I was like, oh, I'm getting a pretty good deal, $350 plus taxes, and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then
it adds up.
There's a shipping, and there's an actual DHL fee, and the exchange rate, and it was like, oh, this wasn't as. I mean, it still was cheaper than buying a flagship outright. It was cheaper than if I went and bought the G3 at the time. But at the same time, it wasn't as great a deal as I was really expecting. So, unfortunately, Canadians, we get a little bit of a hosing on that. Canadians and hosers, right? So, all right. So, to wrap it up to show, guys, that's all the news we have. If there's anything we're missing, by all means, please comment. Throw us a comment on the blog. Write us something on Facebook. Write us something on Twitter. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this, guys. I really love seeing comments on our website and interacting with every one of the readers out there. I really appreciate anybody taking any time to do so. We're meant to really be in a community here, and communities thrive on communication. So appreciate that. If there's any topics that you thought we should have hit, by all means, let us know. But before we go, we want to talk about, again, we just posted. This week has been a week of reviews, and it's only been half the week so far. Martin posted off his Tilt Tunes. It looked at a really cool little jam box there. It's got some music going. Yeah, and you're seeing him wear his Plantronics Backbeat Sense Bluetooth headphones. Those are really cool. They look like Beats, but not as expensive and probably just as good.
Probably better because the Beat technology is not the same. It's Beat technology is pretty much the same thing as the crappy $20 pair you'll get at Walmart.
And they add
Talking about the ones I have, nothing.
Well, they might be better than the WestJet headphones.
They're so deep. They're so deep down my ears now. I can't take them up.
I have to pull in the cord.
Now the WestJet implants.
You're a WestJetter for life now, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't go in Air Canada with those things on. I reviewed a couple items from iClever, the little desktop charger. I don't know why I missed out on this kind of technology. Like, it makes me feel like a chump all those years taking a bunch of chargers with me when I go, my watch charger, I need to plug in for my phone. I can just carry one thing. Damn, that's smart. And then I also reviewed, don't knock on my things, the iClever little Bluetooth speaker. We saw that in my website review. Nice, I mean, for the size, decent amount of speaker volume. And then just today, I also did my post on the Alcatel Idol 3, which surprised me every day I used it in terms of how actually great it was. So if you're looking for a recommendation for a non-flagship phone, that would be it. So those are the reviews we've done the past week. By all means, go check them out. We really would like you to do so, and I mean, the people would love to see that you bought them and you heard about it through us. Because if you tell people that you heard about them through us, then we might get more things to be able to review and give away, which I am working on some giveaways for the end of the summer, the annual time again. But anyways, that's it for the show, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll let the lovely panel here say their goodbyes, starting with Sylvain.
Yes. Have a good week. See ya. And 5 more days.
5 more days till the 1+2. And isn't it July 27th we get Windows 10?
It's on the Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. So that's 29th then. So that's the 29th. And the 28th we get the new Moto devices.
Yeah, I was going to say the Motorola's going to be announcing their stuff, which is what I'm going to be hyped about. So.
On the 28th, and then OnePlus on the 27th. A big hectic next week. Sivan, how are you looking forward to next week? Sivan?
Sivan frozen. She's frozen.
Oh, she's there.
Bye, everybody. Good night. Thank you.
There you go.
Rob?
Good night.
Rob's looking forward to the next Moto. He's looking to replace his X from 2013.
I got my G4 though, and I am very happy with it.
Martin?
Right, have a good weekend. Good week.
Yeah, it feels like it's the weekend already, but it's still.
Yeah, it's been a long weekend for me.
All right, everybody, thank you much for tuning in. We're Android Coliseum. Check us out at androidcoliseum.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.